Heroes and Legends, Dynasties, Insuran-Banquron. The Centra Banquron, who consisted of the leadership of Crisp, who was the hand claw wielder, and his top bodyguard and friend, who stood by his side, Sandy Briggs, and their new ally that joined them after the destruction of her forces at the end of the Great War, Sia Lukaya, um, had been teleported to the Centra Banquron galaxy. The Centra Banquron were very quiet for a long time and not have been heard from since the Second Great War, as they were easily wiped out by the forces of the Bin. But because of many instances and miracles, the Centra had grew back to size and strength. Seeing that the Centra didn't have no real leadership, these heroes and leaders of the dimensions quickly took reins of the government and continued to grow their forces. Chris knew by themselves they'd be overrun by the many stronger powers that surrounded them. Within the administration of the universe was that of Marco Centra. He was of the Centra Banquron. He was a mad strategist with wild and crazy and cruel ideas. However, he had no one to work with in order to make his ideals a reality. And so he had plans for ships beyond ships, troops beyond troops, android soldiers, super equipped, and plans for something gigantic, building a planet. But that last one is far outreaching. And so he cast that inside for now. He then accepted Crisp's leadership and joined him. Marco then introduced them to a man named Benny Cat. He was a wandering officer of Sapapina and the Sapapina galaxy. Benny was a strange one. He was bored in the Sapapina as he did absolutely nothing after the fall of Anjosaga. And so he decided to travel the universe, seeing new things, meeting new people, and living a carefree life. However, he arrived at Central Banquron and was hired by Marco Centra in order to fulfill his plans. Marco knew that the destruction of the dimensions and the appearance of so many different officers and heroes from the dimensions would spark a new war eventually, and that other forces from the Central Banquron were bound to come. And so he readied himself, got some troops, and prepared for battle. And so Marco took Benny and Chris and a host of others with him to show him his lab, where he created super soldiers, strong androids to fight, although small in number compared to the army sizes of other galaxies. They were very well skilled. Chris was impressed, knowing that he had such capable men now in his employ. However, he knew that he needed allies. He wondered if his old friend Dimitar of the Carolina galaxy, how they were faring, and if they will ever meet again. And if so, how far would a Manican take to reach Banquron in order to aid them during these trying times. However, Marco Central suggested to Chris that waiting for the Insuran to get here was a fool's errand. The Banquron galaxies surround him, and they're here and now, and they needed allies. Marco suggested to Chris that he make a deal with those of the Baja and Commonwealth from Banquron. Sandy Briggs stopped him and said, during the time in our time in dimensions, those two Banquron forces were with the elders. They were in direct competition with us for power. They were our foes. How then now do you expect them to be our allies? He explained. However, Marco then explained to her that things had changed. The elders had a split, although they shared the same fate. They split from the Holy Empire and Fairmail the forces because of their relationship with Catherine and the other Ricians. And so these Banquron were in talks of finding allies so they themselves could survive. This, Marco continued, Lord Crisp, is a perfect opportunity for us to suggest an alliance, and to you to lead such alliance. Although there might be troops from the dimensions who you may or may not have faced, if in their ranks, certainly the Baja and Commonwealthmen will see the strategicness of joining alliance now in the present day than any old rivalries of the past. Grips shook his head, and then he scratched it, and then understood what Marco was saying. Benicat was stunned that Marco had planned all of this long in advance, and a hunch that someone from the dimensions would come here. And then Sia Lucaya said, Master Crisp, it wouldn't be a bad idea if we go along with Marco's suggestion. You could reach out to the president of the Commonwealth and the king of the Baja in order to make an arrangement with them and make our 3 galaxies strong. We have the Oricians, we have the Royals, we have the Civic and Scotia and a host of others surrounding us. Until our Insuran allies reach this galaxy, we need allies here. Until then, Chris Ben understood, and he took the advice of Marco and the suggestion from Sia and made reaching out to King Cardio and President Marcus. On a video call, these 3 leaders met each other for the first time, and Chris put it off and said, Gentlemen, we share a common desire. We need allies to survive the wars that now surround us. Hear me out. Here am I now to make a suggestion that both of us will benefit from.